Hello, everybody. This is my Module 1 for EDL 959, Advanced Curriculum Development and Evaluation. And my name is Luke Reardon. Some personal demographics about myself. This is my 7th year in education. So my first year in Brookside, Missouri, teaching 5th grade social studies and religion. I moved back to my hometown, go back to that later, in my 2nd year, and I've been here ever since. So right there, 5-6 social studies and middle school basketball, high school track in Solomon, Kansas. And as it progresses, if you work in a small town, you know that you just kind of pick up more and more things as the years goes on. So middle school, high school track, then I moved on to football, middle school and high school track, and then all the way down to um, right there in my 7th year. I am 5'8", social studies still, except for that 1 year I took off in my 3rd year to be English. And I am middle school, high school football, high school basketball, and middle school, high school track. That's where I am now. Some more personal demographics. So I am from Solomon, Kansas, where I'm teaching now. I graduated from Sacred Heart High School in Salina, Kansas, which is right on I-70, or 81 and I-70 combined. I graduated from Benedictine College in 2016, which is up there in Atchison, Kansas, about 45 minutes north of Kansas City. I'm currently working on my master's in building administration from Hayes. That is my goal. I married my wife in 2018. Her name is Sarah, and we have 2 beautiful children together, David and Tommy. David is the top one, and Tommy is right there. David will be, he's about 3.5, and Tommy will be 2 in January. My hobbies include I love cooking or grilling and smoking meat and playing on my Blackstone. Um, love yard work and the outdoors. Anything I can do outdoors, I will do. How does leadership impact academic, non-academic activities and barriers? These are the article summaries. So what are non-academic skills and why should I care about them? This is Article 1. So most parents look at grades as a success criteria for student life. Grades may be important, but they are not as important as we think. I think this relates a lot of just generational differences. Non-academic skills will determine the success of an individual. The skill set for non-academic skills is a need for all children, and non-academic skills need to be taught in the classroom. And here's a few examples of non-academic skills: self-discipline, focus, responsibility, study skills, time management, motivation, and self-confidence. And all of us in the classroom are seeing a lack in many of these, especially today within the last 10 to 15 years. Soft skills. We're preparing students for successful futures. Everyone agrees that it is important to teach both academic skills and non-academic skills. Which non-academic skills to focus on, however, vary between groups. Teachers, admin, and parents all use different measures to assess student learning. Parents are optimistic that their children are learning the skills they need to be successful. And one thing we need to consider is the fact that this is sort of a new generational add-on to these students, where a lot of these people who are expecting the school to teach these, it's new for the school because generally in prior generations they were taught at home. Importance of curriculum to teaching. An effective curriculum provides all staff and stakeholders with measurable plan and structure for developing a quality education. And an evidence-based curriculum acts as a roadmap for teachers and students to follow on the path to academic success. Developing curriculum is ongoing and requires the openness of district leaders and educators. We can't have people just stuck on the road and stuck with how they're doing things that have been doing the last 30 years. We need to be able to adapt. Administrators need to follow a detailed curriculum to ensure that their school is teaching relevant material and monitoring the progress of students from all types of backgrounds. It's going into the different ethnic backgrounds and just the disproportionate ratios. The curriculum must inform teachers that what skills must be taught at each grade level in order to align their teaching style and what they're teaching to prepare students for the world after high school, whether they go to post-educational programs or to the workforce. One way to motivate students is by aligning the curriculum and showing why we teach each subject. Okay? Many questions we get all the time is, why are we learning this? But they're taught why, and they can actually see what they would do with it in the future. It can motivate them. Everyone involved in the students' learning should collaborate on the development of curriculum that will install character in students and reinforce positive behavior. Non-academic skills are key to success, but what should we call them? There's a list of what they call them right down there. I know my school uses it. It's called Character Strong. So there's the first one. Call them soft skills, social and emotional skills, non-cognitive traits and habits, growth mindset, 21st century skills, and grit. Um, Most people in education agree we need to be teaching skills other than academics. The issue is finding a universal term to call the skills we need to teach. This is in the beginning processes. You can just tell that a lot of schools have not done this before, and it's just basically it's pioneering into the future of education. This article here, I just put in there. It was not found. It was not a link that took me anywhere. It just said it was unavailable. So personalized learning, the importance of teaching teachers is in a technological driven world. Sorry. The quote here: "The true power of technology lies in the development of and agency for teachers to cultivate the tools to meet the ever-changing needs of their students." The technology is always changing. We know that. Most schools have as one-to-one devices. I know my school does. Good personalized learning systems share the feathers. Instruction is aligned, instruction is customized, pace is varied, educators use data, and students and parents have access to learning objectives. And this goes perfectly into our next article for what they're using it for and comparing to how they should be using it compared to what they're using it for. So two major findings during this person's 50 years of research, and this Justin Rich, teaching our way of digital equity, the article. First, most teachers are using technology to extend existing practices. I know I've been guilty of this too, just making sure they're on their Chromebooks to read or to type in notes. And so what they've been doing on paper forever. We're not actually using it for a purpose to extend their learning, just using it to make things quicker or simpler, or just using them because we have to use them. Second, the teachers who are using technology in an innovative way are doing so with more advantaged students. It's an interesting article. I did like this one a lot. And it does make sense. Leading to equity issues, teachers more willing to try new technologies, better behaved students, typically more advantaged. I would say advantaged more of the double parent households, the students that come in with all their needs met, ready to learn, rather than those that are needing to you need to bring them up to par with everybody else before you can teach them. People that come in ready to go, creating a digital divide between certain races and ethnicities. I want to hit on this just a little bit longer, but I mean, I would assume that everybody in this class right now can relate this to people in their own school. I have a class that's full of IEPs that a lot of them are behavioral issues that I am not able to do things with them, or I feel I'm not able to do things with them that I can with the other class. It's hard to split them up because of the lack of para support that we have. The paras we have are fantastic, but we don't have enough applying. We are losing them as fast as we're losing teachers in this state. And the fact that we have to put them all into one classroom, I think we have 7 or 8 in one classroom, identified students, and it's it's just hard to get things done that need to be done that you can with other classes. Non-academic skills are the necessary foundation for learning. So non-academic skills need to be taught, nurtured, and modeled. Academic standards are what students must learn. The social and emotional skills are the how. K-12 system was designed with the understanding that students had these skills coming in. Not the case anymore. Times have changed, and we all know that. Students being labeled as behavioral problems can be explicitly taught non-academic skills. They need to know their non-academic skills before they can actually be taught academics. A case study was done on 2 Texas Title I schools in a rural area. This is the implementing new technologies in a middle school curriculum. Here are the findings. Teachers need significant training to utilize the technology well. We touch more on that later when during these questions this assignment asks that I enjoyed. Technology infrastructure plays a huge role. Internet speed, personnel, hardware, etc. Teachers need support mapping the technology to their curriculum. Schools are spending money on technology not being utilized because the teachers don't know how to use or incorporate into their curriculum. So these questions here. So evaluate at least 10 academic activities what are being utilized in your school district. So, so a lot of these are not being used by me personally, but across the board. We have Clever, Freckle, Tiered Intervention, Epic, FastBridge, Ingenuity, Newslia, Grammarly, BoardWorks, and Seesaw. How do you how does your school administrator support these activities? We have a great support system. I mean, they obviously support it financially, and we are given training opportunities. No, anyway, not to say enough, but what do you think about these activities? So they can all be useful if given enough time to review the data and implement well. What would you do differently if you were the administrator in charge of these activities? I think more training needs to be done for teachers to incorporate these well. Usually training is all done on the same day and it's too overwhelming to be impactful. Yes, we'll be trained on multiple different things and basically stations. And it's so much at the beginning of the year before you even started to get students and try to get them incorporated into your classroom, and maybe later on. But it's just too. It is a lot, especially in a small school like myself. I'm the only social studies teacher in junior high. I have 140 kids a day, 140 kids a day, 8 different classes, and a very small playing period. So to be able to actually sit down and really go through this stuff will have to be on my own time, which is not a problem. But on top of that, like I said, with everybody in the class, we are um, with everybody in the school coaching and doing other things. It's just hard to have the amount of time. So, will the teachers, students, parents, other key stakeholders think about these academic activities? The students don't necessarily enjoy all of them. Some aren't very engaging. Um, the teachers like the result many of these offer. Parents like because they can see how their child are performing academically. How do these 10 academic activities increase equity access to high quality digital resources and technology rich learning experiences? Some create a better learning experience than others. For example, Newslia gives students a choice on what they want to read and tailor it to their reading level. Others, such as FastBridge, the students don't enjoy, but it gives the teachers important data that drives intervention for their math and reading. I think I skipped one up here. I skipped the one that what would you do differently if you were the administrator in charge of these activities? I think more training needs to be done for teachers to incorporate these well. I did mention that. Yeah, more training. Evaluate at least 10 non-academic activities that are being utilized in your school district. So class reward systems, recess football, robotics, yearbook, lunch with a principal, clubs, volunteer opportunities, family nights, class parties. How does your school administrator support these activities? Scheduling time to make the events happen, finding sponsors or volunteers to lead activities. What do you think about these activities? So these are the part of the school students enjoy and remember. What would you do differently if you were the administrator in charge of these activities? Remember the importance and values of these opportunities. Encourage more students to get involved. This is an easy one. I think a lot of teachers get so stressed out about hitting these standards and hitting these, we forget the things that the students really, really enjoy, and that can be utilized appropriately, can really help their academic success. What do the teachers, students, parents, other key stakeholders think about these non-academic activities? They love these activities in our community. It gives them change to be involved in their child's life, whether as a spectator or a volunteer in the classroom. It's just about welcoming the community. Identify the things you have not seen your school principal do. Why do you think this is so? The principal can't be at every event, especially our principal. She's in charge of KH. She does a fantastic job, and it's so much on one plate. There isn't enough time in the day. It's important for them to find good people to be in charge of these activities and make an appearance when they can. How do these 10 non-academic activities increase equity against access to high quality digital resources and technology rich learning experiences? Well, they're based on student choice. Options such as robotics club and yearbook provide amazing digital experiences for students. So barriers, non-barriers, non-academic barriers are you personally familiar with? They get in the way of creating the right conditions for students and families. Some students have to work after school to help support their families and are unable to participate in an extracurricular activity. Academic and non-academic activities need to be developed further. So tiered interventions and Newslia, non-academic family fun nights, class reward systems for academic and non-academic. Provide for these new activities, so STEM core classes that are implemented at a high quality, technical rich, future school leader, academic. STEM core classes, project-based learning requirements, non-academic, student-based digital use newspaper, and an engineering club.